Welcome, Jordan here. Welcome to the third part of the Emotional Mastery series. If you haven't watched part one and two, I would recommend that you start with one, go to two, and then come and watch this video, as it would give you so much more context and you'll be able to really get the most out of this training. So far, we've looked at emotional triggers, how those things can kind of show up throughout our life, bringing awareness to these different things, what to do in those moments to really create a transformation, and the reason why we go through those things in the first place, how to be proactive over reactive, and really tap into a deeper level of emotional mastery within. Now we're going to talk about communication, which is the next component of all of this, because effective communication, specifically when it comes to relationships, whether that's romantic relationships, client relationships, business partnerships, like whatever the case is, communication when it comes to these relationships is the cornerstone of progressing effectively. And we're going to discuss how to do this honestly and from a place of integrity, being able to own your truth throughout this journey, which takes courage. Okay. So now that we've identified the different emotional triggers that have come up in our life, right? We can see it on a day to day basis, how these things may be showing up. We talked about that in video one. In video two, we talked about how to be proactive over reactive and how making that choice is actually our opportunity to transform. And it is an absolute blessing and gift that this experience happens, this trigger happened, because it gives us an opportunity to go inwards within ourselves and choose a new pathway for our life. So now that we've done this, how do we communicate with the person who may be actually triggering us in the first place? Let's talk about romantic relationships first. I'll give you a personal example of this. There was a moment where I was very deeply triggered in a relationship. I was feeling a certain way within myself that was causing me to feel avoidant in the relationship. It's kind of an attachment style that I've had, right? An anxious and avoidant style, right? I'm being honest with you here. So in that time, I was getting these emotional triggers. This person was saying things and doing things, and all of it was just neutral. And I was experiencing this within myself. I could feel it coming up. I could feel the negativity there. I could feel the triggers boiling within me. And I could feel the child within me really feeling neglected. Because this trigger, this either saying something or doing something or not doing anything, was actually mirroring back to me something within myself. And these can catch us off guard many times. Still to this day, I get caught off guard with these things all the time because I'm on the journey just as much as anybody else. So I had a choice in that moment. First of all, it was for me to go into that because as a man in a relationship with a woman, it is up to me, my belief anyway, to lead by example. And I don't want the woman to wait for me to come and to have this discussion about, hey, what's going on with this avoidant style, or like all these different things that can come up that because we get stuck in our head. So it was up to me. First of all, like we talked about, it was identifying the trigger. Okay, there's something going on here. Then it's, okay, I'm not going to be reactive. I'm not going to start, texting or doing things that are going to cause me to just have this knock-on effect of chaos in my life. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose to be proactive. I know that this is going to help me transform. What an amazing blessing this is. Thank you to this person. Maybe I didn't say it to them, but I said it about the moment. And then I went deep into that. I went into it. I sat with it in meditation. I felt the emotions that were looking to come up, that child within me that felt neglected. It was powerful. It was emotional. And there was things there that I needed to address. I was in my process of moving through that energy, that emotion. Now, notice how that was part of the proactive behavior. Because again, I can only speak from a man's perspective here. How I see this is that there's a very important part of the relationship where the man must be able to manage his emotions. And this goes for any partnership, but specifically in a romantic relationship. No woman wants a man who's reactive because it has shown her that this man cannot manage his own emotions, whether that's being needy, or whether that's being actually avoidant as well, or whether that's just outlashing on her or dumping all of his stuff that he hasn't resolved on her. No woman deserves that. No woman wants that. So it is up to us men to master these things. So in that moment, I had to go into the depths of what was really going on within me and understand and apply the tools and the skill sets I've developed in this area of emotional mastery into that moment so that we can both transform. Then, after I did that, I was able to communicate. So we're getting into the communication side now. I was open and honest. Now, this is a challenging thing to do, and it can be a scary thing to do because what you are doing is you are embracing vulnerability. And that can be a very scary thing as a man, and I'm sure as a woman as well. Like, absolutely, vulnerability is a scary thing for anyone. But in this moment, it was up to me, after I had moved through these different elements, to communicate with her in such a way where I'm like, hey, this is what's going on for me right now. Not, hey, you need to fix me. Not, hey, you need to solve this for me. I'm sharing with you. I'm being open and honest with my communication. I'm opening up this communication channel to say, hey, this is what's going on for me. And funny enough, what she shared back was, hey, this is actually what's going on for me as well. We were both going through the exact same thing. But what would have happened if nothing was said? If none of those things that we just talked about there, that sequence of events didn't happen? Well, we both would have been in a reactive state. We both would have probably just grown further and further and further apart because there's no communication there. There was no sharing of what is actually coming up for both of us within. There's no consciousness there of being able to collaboratively move forward. It's just more and more separation. And that's, I believe, just from what I've seen from serving men and from observing these different things, that's where most people just start to part ways and eventually just break up and the relationship fizzles out. Because if you're not willing to go into those things and be open and honest with the communication channel and open that up, it's destined to fail, or it's destined just to be chaos, right? But again, it takes a level of awareness to be able to do that. And of course, takes courage too. So we went and we met later that day. We had a conversation and we resolved things. And we were open and honest, and it felt great, right? For both of us. We felt lighter. We felt more empowered. We felt clearer. We felt more connected than ever before. Now, why is that? Because there was an open communication channel that came from my side to initiate and from her side as well. And that way we were able to collaboratively move forward from a place of, hey, I'm in this, you're in this, let's do this together, let's keep going. Let's be open and honest about these things, because without being open and honest about those things, the emotional mastery that we're working on here, it doesn't get put into practice when it comes to actually developing a loving relationship in this sense. The same thing could apply in a different way for a business partnership, right? If you're in a business partnership, I've never personally been in a business partnership, but if you were in a business partnership or it's a client relationship, I've done this many times as well, where I have to be open and honest with the client. Hey, this is what I'm seeing from you right now. This is the standard that we're holding together. This is something that you're avoiding, you're running away from right now, and you have paid me to hold you to this standard. So what do we need to do about this? This is what's coming up for you. Let's go into that. Do you need to be seen? Do you need to be heard? What can we do to collaborate on this? For me, that's a very important component of the coaching relationships that I have. We're holding life, that this person, we're holding them to a higher standard. It's my job to do that. That requires me to understand, even in those relationship dynamics, you can get triggered as well. Because again, everything is a mirror. Like, it's not that this person is right or wrong or any of these things. It's all just a mirror for us to transform. And when we can see things through that lens, everything else becomes more simple. We can remain neutral as well in those scenarios, so that we can allow these open communication channels to effectively go deep with the person, come from a place of love and compassion for where they might be at, or what they might not be sharing, or what they might feel shy about, or what they might not be able to feel comfortable fully yet. And it's up to me in that relationship with a client to hold a space of non-judgment, not trying to fix them. Because this is the thing, without being able to manage your emotions, developing in your levels of consciousness and energetic frequency, you're serving and coaching people from your mind, from your ego constantly, which means that there's going to be flaws in that whole process. Now, of course, we all have an ego. I'm not saying that I don't. We do. We have to manage that and we have to be aware of it. But if there's no level of going inwards within yourself from the things that we've chatted about so far, then this person is going to be at a loss, right? It's a disservice to them, because you can't hold space for what may be going on for them in their process and in their journey without any judgment of you trying to fix them or needing them to be a certain way. And this is where I think a lot of coaching relationships go wrong, because the coach is trying to fix the client, and that's not what that relationship is about. That's the opposite of what's supposed to happen. You're allowing this person to flourish in their own way. And that requires this open communication channel, knowing when to drop in and to drop out and to lean in and to actually really hold them to a higher standard, and also being able to just like zoom out and being able to see, hey, where are they at in their journey, and how can we open up this communication channel in a way where they feel comfortable and safe to express who they are and create the container for that transformation. So that's like a client relationship as well. So it can apply to everything. But the core essence of all of this comes from what we talked about in video 1 and video 2. Because you do those 2 steps right, effective communication, leadership, in that sense, is going to come as a byproduct. You don't need to try with those things, because you have now gone inwards within yourself to solve these different things, not fix, just to process through those things and to come out the other side, rise like a phoenix from that level of personal power. And you're able to hold that container for transformation now, whether that's in a relationship, a business partnership, or a client relationship, or whatever the case is. Family members, the same thing. You can apply it to all of them. And really, at the essence of effective communication is knowing when to go deep with someone and really hold a level of ruthless standards, but also at the same time having deep love and compassion and helping them feel seen and heard and valued, and understanding what their process is when it comes to their inner child, when it comes to their journey throughout life so far. Not to walk around on eggshells, but to understand the person. From studying effective leadership over the last number of years, I've been able to really observe that it's a beautiful thing when you can help someone unlock something within themselves. And that doesn't come from your mind, it comes from your heart. It comes from leading from that place. And the more that you heal those things within yourself to unlock that level of heart-led leadership in yourself without needing to control people, then you set a really beautiful standard for an incredible relationship across any domain, no matter what it is. And that's where emotional mastery starts to show up in having incredible relationships, right? And that has a massive knock-on effect in business, in your love life, your community, the friendships that you have, your family, all these different things. And we're not saying that they're not going to be challenging from time to time, but you're going to have the skill set and the ability to navigate those things and to know when to jump in, when to pull back, when to say the right thing, not because you need them to be a certain way, but because you are channeling that from within, right? You've done that work within, it just overflows from you. So that's why step 1 and step 2 are the most important, because you master those, you're good to go. So that brings us to the end of this video, guys. Appreciate your time and energy as always, and I'll see you in the next one.